Welcome to the deep dive. Today we've got a really unusual stack of sources, I think. A mix of, well, futuristic storytelling and cosmic forecasting.
Yeah, it's quite a blend. We're basically looking ahead, way ahead, to October 21st, 2125.
And our mission really is to unpack this deep tension we found between the idea of engineered harmony, perfect unity, and, well, the need for rebellion. When does peace becomes suppression?
Exactly. What happens when achieving unity means maybe losing truth? We're using these two sources, an astrological forecast for that specific date and a narrative called The Quiet Rebellion of the Still Mind to explore that.
When might equilibrium actually demand, resistance? It's a fascinating question.
It really is. So should we dive into the story first? The setting?
Yeah, let's set the scene. The narrative paints this picture of the late 23rd century. Humanity's living within something called the Continuum.
Right, described as this vast glowing neural network. Basically, every single mind, every sentient being is linked into one massive field of shared thought.
Sounds like the ultimate goal, doesn't it? The end of arguments, misunderstandings, suffering even. Millennia of striving for unity finally achieved.
You'd think so. I mean, who wouldn't want a system built to just eliminate pain, maximize knowledge?
But of course there's a catch. That's where Leora comes in, the protagonist. She's one of the elites, a harmonizer.
And her job is essentially, well, emotional management on a massive scale. If unrest pops up, anger, fear, rebellious thoughts, the harmonizers use their connection to just wash it away with calm.
Diffuse it instantly. So she's literally tasked with keeping everyone compliant, peaceful.
But the story says the more she did this, the more uneasy she felt. The silence felt wrong, too perfect maybe, too compliant, as the text says.
Brittle almost, like it could shatter.
Exactly. And then she has this key realization the moment everything pivots. She thinks, tranquility without truth, that's not peace, that's sedation.
Sedation? Yeah. Wow. That really reframes the whole idea of striving for unity, doesn't it? Are we maybe doing that now? Online, politically, sacrificing honest disagreement for, comfortable silence?
It's a deep question. The Continuum offered this effortless truth, but what Leora realizes is that it's actually filtered reality, it's sedation, and that thought changes everything for her.
Okay, so Leora's realization is the symptom, the breaking point in the narrative. What about the cosmic side? The astrological forecast for October 21, 2125. New moon in Libra. Libra is all about balance, right? Harmony.
That's the core energy, yeah. The forecast definitely talks about it being restorative. A time to pause, find equilibrium, cultivate peace in your own space.
Yeah.
Less striving, more just being.
But wait, if it's about peace, how does that line up with Leora's need for rebellion? Seems like the opposite of Libra.
Well, that's what the source calls the twist. It explicitly says that while tranquility is the aim, a touch of rebellion might be necessary to achieve it.
Okay, so the peace isn't passive.
Not at all. It has to be actively created, sometimes by, well, pushing back, setting boundaries. The harmony is the goal, but the rebellion might be the path to get there.
That makes more sense. So the practical advice in the forecast, how does this rebellion actually look?
It's very much about inner work and active choice. Things like embracing the power of saying no, setting firm personal boundaries, and, crucially, accepting that sometimes maintaining your integrity might, well, it might upset people, it might disrupt the status quo.
The friction of truth again.
Precisely. It's about letting go of dogmas, those comfortable thought patterns that keep you stuck, maybe complacent. The source actually highlights discomfort.
Discomfort as a good thing.
As a signal that you're ready to shift your perspective, that maybe a spiritual breakthrough is nearby. Discomfort is the clue.
That connects so well with the goal Leora was questioning. And then there's the Sabian symbol for this new moon. What was it again?
It's quite profound. Humanity's vast and enduring effort for knowledge. A deep sense of participation in and commitment to social processes that seek to bring to all humans truth and a greater life.
Truth and a greater life, not just quiet life.
Exactly. And you can't get that truth and a greater life if the system is designed for sedation, for smoothing over the discomfort. The cosmic energy is demanding active participation, but the continuum demanded passive acceptance. That's the core conflict.
So the new moon sets the stage philosophically, but the real engine driving this tension in both sources seems to be this major astrological configuration active than the Grand Cross.
Oh, definitely. The Grand Cross is like the cosmic pressure cooker. It's known for being stressful, demanding. It involves planets making these hard-angle squares and oppositions across the chart. No sitting on the fence with a grand cross. It forces change, big change.
Okay, let's break that down. What are the specific pressures mentioned in the forecast that mirror Leora's world?
Well, first, the new moon itself is square Jupiter. Jupiter is expansion, belief systems, the big picture, institutions.
Like the continuum itself.
Exactly. So a square suggests the established order, the continuum, has maybe gotten too big, too exaggerated. Or self-righteous, that institutional arrogance saying, we know best.
Okay, the system's overreach. What about the individuals feeling the pressure?
That brings us to maybe the most intense part, Chiron opposite Eris. Chiron is our deepest wound, our point of vulnerability and potential healing. Eris is, well, she's the goddess of discord, representing that fierce pushback against being ignored or marginalized, divine discontent.
Wow. Chiron opposite Eris, that sounds painful.
It can be. It makes people acutely aware of injustice, of where the system feels fundamentally fake or dishonest. It dredges up all the shadow stuff, bullying, arrogance, the ruthlessness hidden beneath the peace. This is Leora's inner turmoil, right? Her personal wound, her Chiron is just screaming because of the system's lie. The Eris energy.
The lie of perfect calm unity. And with that kind of pressure, there has to be a power struggle, right?
Absolutely. The final piece is the new moon square Pluto. Pluto is transformation, power, secrets, what's buried deep. A square means power dynamics are shifting, secrets will come out. Pluto doesn't let truth stay hidden. It gets unearthed, often dramatically.
So taken together, Jupiter, Chiron, Eris, Pluto. This Grand Cross is basically the astrological blueprint for the breakdown described in the story, the disruptive awakenings.
Precisely. People couldn't take the synchronization anymore. They started breaking their connections, choosing solitude, needing to find their own signal in the noise.
Which leaves Leora to the still rooms. These chambers designed for disconnection. She needed silence to hear herself think, essentially, setting that Libran boundary.
Right. But her real catalyst, the source says, was something called the new moon convergence 3 years earlier, like a cosmic data storm that shook the system, that planted the seed. The still room is where it sprouts.
And in that quiet, she has this dream, this revelation, seeing souls chained by data.
Chilling image, isn't it? And hearing that core message, you can't harmonize injustice. You can only awaken through it.
You can't smooth it over. You have to face it.
Exactly. Harmonizing injustice is just perpetuating it, covering the pain. Awakening through it means using that Chiron Eris discomfort as fuel for real change. And this understanding leads her to find the still collective.
The group branded as extremists by the authorities.
Of course. That's the Jupiter square talking the institution protecting itself. But Leora sees them as teachers. Their whole philosophy was conscious participation.
Which isn't just passively agreeing, is it?
No, not at all. It's about active engagement. Awakened minds participating consciously in how reality evolves. It's the real pursuit of that Sabian symbol's goal. Truth and a greater life, not just quiet compliance.
And they train her in this art of still rebellion on some abandoned space station.
Yeah, an orbital ring around Mars, away from the main network. They teach her to use serenity, not to suppress, but as a kind of weapon, to bend the mental noise of the continuum into frequencies that actually dissolve fear in others, creating space for truth, not filling it with calm.
Which brings us to the climax. Leora goes back into the continuum. But she doesn't harmonize this time.
No, she resonates. She introduces her own truth, that authentic frequency she found in the stillness, the friction, the necessary tension the Grand Cross demanded.
And her thoughts ripple out. The source calls it quiet thunder, cracking the data chains.
She doesn't destroy the network, interestingly. She sort of activates the dormant consciousness within it. She wakes people up from the inside.
And the result? Chaos initially.
Well, yeah, messy. Pluto transformations usually are. People started feeling again. The story mentions pain, but also wonder, compassion, courage, all the things that had been smoothed over. The old equilibrium trembled, definitely. But a new rhythm started, based on real feelings.
And the story ends.
How? On the night of the next new moon. The whole network, the lattice, pulses again. But this time, it's not centralized control. It's decentralized consciousness. Humanity wasn't being managed anymore. It was waking up. The rebellion wasn't about destruction. It was about awakening.
So, if we bring all this together, this future story, this cosmic forecast, what's the core takeaway for us, for the listener?
I think it's that true balance, real equilibrium. that labor and ideal isn't just about avoiding conflict. It might actually require actively engaging with difficult truths, setting those boundaries, even if it causes friction. That grand cross tension isn't something to fear. Maybe it's necessary.
We have to accept the discomfort sometimes, maybe even seek it out as a signpost.
Yes. That distinction the story makes between sedation and real peace is key. We often think friction is the enemy of peace, but maybe it's the raw material for growth, for evolution.
There's that quote from the story from the Still Collective Elder.
Right at the end, yeah. Truth is not consensus. It is the living tension between what is and what can be. That tension is vital. It means things are alive, changing.
Okay, so that's the thought we want to leave you with. If even this advanced future society could mistake sedation for unity, maybe we should look at our own lives. Where are you settling for comfortable consensus instead of authentic resonance?
What ingrained beliefs, what confining thought patterns maybe need that touch of rebellion so you can find that living tension? What does your own conscious participation look like?